Good morning, I'm Elton Robinson with this week's grain update for the U.S. The U.S. corn crop is on good pace in maturity according to government figures, but Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, North Carolina, and Ohio are reporting double-digit percentages of the crop in poor to very poor condition for the week ending July 26th. Those states planted about 25 million acres of corn this year, according to USDA. That represents about 28% of the U.S. corn acreage. On the other end of the spectrum, 83% of the 13.7 million acre crop in Iowa is in good to excellent condition. Other crops in good to excellent shape include Colorado, Kentucky, Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. The U.S. sorghum crop is a little bit behind in maturity, with good crops reported in Arkansas, Nebraska, New Mexico, and South Dakota. The crops in Louisiana and Missouri report 16% and 11%, respectively, of sorghum in poor to very poor shape, according to crop progress reports. The U.S. soybean crop is maturing ahead of pace, with 34% of the crop setting pods for the week ending July 26th. Good crops are developing in Iowa, Kentucky, Minnesota, Mississippi, the Dakotas, Tennessee, and Wisconsin, while crops are faring less well in Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Ohio. U.S. rice producers report about 70% of the crop in good to excellent condition, but crops in Arkansas, California, and Mississippi are faring much better than those in Louisiana and Texas. The U.S. wheat crop is now 85% harvested, with most fields in the Mid-South and Southeast now in the bins. In weather around the U.S., Ohio received significant relief from wet and humid weather, which has prevailed over much of the season. USDA reported 5.1 days suitable for field work for the week ending July 26th in Ohio, compared to 1.6 days the week before. Most states, with the exception of California and Oregon, report good supplies of subsoil moisture. In Lonoke County, Arkansas, Extension Agent Jeff Welch reports that producers are irrigating corn for the last time, spraying sorghum for worms and sugarcane aphids. They're also spraying emerging soybeans for armyworms. In Franklin Parish, Louisiana, County Agent Carol Pinnell says corn is drying down quickly and harvest could begin in a week or so. She reports some very late soybeans, rice, and green sorghum. Harvest of early rice has also begun in Acadia and Jefferson parishes in Louisiana. In Texas, it's back to hot, dry weather, with only the northern high plains, the Trans-Pecos, Blacklands, and southern low plains receiving rain. Sorghum harvest has begun in the southern high and low plains. Dry weather has prevailed in much of Virginia, allowing for more suitable days for field work. In Pender County, North Carolina, thunderstorms dropped a lot of rain, but it was needed to help late planted corn finish pollinating and early planted corn to finish filling kernels. Heat stress is starting to set in some areas in the southeast. And now for more on the most recent export report. Wheat exports of nearly 600,000 metric tons were up noticeably from the previous week, with China, Nigeria, and Chile as primary customers. Corn exports of 1.16 million metric tons were up 2% from the previous week, with Japan, Mexico, and South Korea as the top three customers. Sorghum exports of 116,000 metric tons were up 55% from the previous week, all going to China. Rice exports of 92,000 metric tons were up noticeably from the previous week, with Venezuela, Haiti, Mexico, and Japan as primary customers. Exports of 316,000 metric tons of soybeans were up 87% from the previous week and 56% from the previous 4-week average. Meal exports were down 22%, while soybean oil exports were up noticeably. Beef exports were up 9% from the previous week, with destinations to Japan, South Korea, and Mexico, while pork exports were up 7%. That's it for this week's grain report. I'm Elton Robinson. See you next Friday.